Hello everyone and welcome back to another KSP video. This time I'm actually following in the footsteps of yours truly, Matt Lowne. In a video that he made not too long ago, he was trying to build an SSTO that was in the spirit of one of our KSP elders, Mr. Overfloater. The design of the SSTO is to basically build a type of rig or structure in the middle and then cover the entire SSTO in wings. This is of course for more of a aesthetic kind of thing going on, but it looked really nice. The only problem is that Mr. Overfloater, he left a while ago. I wonder if he's ever come back. Probably not. But in those days when we played KSP, the mechanics of KSP was very, very different. The aerodynamics was different. Everything was different. The drag was different. A lot of things were different. Case in point, many of the parts didn't exist yet. Mark III parts weren't really a thing. You had to build your own cargo bay if you wanted to store anything in an SSTO. There were no doors. There were no joints. There were no robotic parts. You had to build your own cargo bay ramp system or door system or anything that you wanted. You had to make it yourself. I mean, hell, when they finally did come out with Mark III cargo parts, like space shuttle parts, they didn't even have the space shuttle engine yet. You still had to use the skipper engine. I mean, it was okay. It didn't gimbal very well and you kind of had to position it in a way that kind of worked. It was fun regardless. Back in those days, air or intake air was an actual resource. So as long as you had intake air for a resource, jet engines would work. It didn't matter how high you were, as long as you had air coming into the intakes, you were good, which of course many people went ahead and utilized this little loophole by doing something called air hogging, me myself included. Air hogging was a technique back in the day where you'd put like 1,000 different air intakes on the craft. This would allow you to keep on using jet power even at the very thin altitude of say 50,000 meters. This meant that you could literally build an SSTO using nothing but jet engines and nuclear propulsion, allowing you to build SSTOs that could literally on one tank of gas explore the entire solar system. Mind you, this was back in the day of KSP when nuclear engines still used not only liquid fuel but also oxidizer to burn. This is before they changed that. In order to maneuver parts inside of the building window, you had to use Shift AWASD keys because the move tools were not invented yet. Yes, this was an era of KSP that was extremely different than what you're used to. In many ways though, one could say it was a little bit more fun and forgiving in comparison to today. Now, today, with the final version of KSP and all the wonderful mods that come with it, every single part has different types of drag boxes, every single part has different types of coefficients, and also, you have Mark III parts now that have their own cargo bays, even though that when they're closed, they still create drag. We don't know why, but hey, there you go. Intake air is no longer a resource. It's actually something that's built into the actual jet engine itself. You can help it by using more or less different types of intakes or intake parts, but it's nothing like it was back in the day. As a for instance, back then you could use a bunch of different air intakes in order to keep that air intake air resource high in order to burn your jets even when the thin layers of the atmosphere are way up high. But nowadays you can power almost up to 4 Rapier engines with just one shock cone air intake. So the programming is a little different. Things have changed. Granted, now the nuclear engine is a little bit more efficient because you don't have to worry about burning oxidizer anymore. They changed that a while ago. But now you have the problem with the whole putting wings all around and making an aesthetically pleasing SSTO, yet extremely draggy one. SSTOs now, you really can't do that kind of thing with the wings like you used to back in the day. It creates a tremendous amount of drag. This of course slows down your craft a lot, so you're going to need some engines. I don't blame Matt one bit for not being able to build that thing first shot with all the changes that have happened in KSP ever since then. You would have to go through a lot of redesigns and testing and redesigns just to make something go into orbit, let alone interplanetary. However, I was possessed and determined to make an Overfloater style SSTO work in modern KSP. It was not easy. First of all, with modern KSP, as soon as you tilt those wings up or down, you're creating a tremendous amount of drag, which is really going to kill your craft. But if you're gonna do it, make sure the symmetry is equal all over the place, not only left and right, but up and down. You want an equal amount of drag from bottom to top to left to right. So if you're gonna be draggy, at least be draggy, pointed in one direction and not pulled all over the place. Next, I had to figure out what kind of combination of engines I could use. I was thinking about going just pure rocket SSTO like I've been doing in my 10% science playthrough, because with such a draggy SSTO you're going to need a lot of power in order to get it up there. I think I finally settled on a design that had Rapier engines as well as nuclear engines and a lot of fuel. This did not take a couple of minutes to achieve. This took half a day. Instead of using the internal auto strut that we have nowadays, I went ahead and used the actual strut parts in order to sort of mimic what we had to do back in the day before they actually implemented auto strut into the game. Fascinatingly, even though the center of lift was way ahead of the craft, it stayed steady as long as you didn't do anything crazy. Right here I was testing out different types of engines and engine techniques. I wanted to try to keep it keep it true to what we used to do back in the day, which was just a combination of jet engines and rockets, or jet engines and nuclear propulsion. I would quickly find out that that is not the case anymore. Ultimately, I would settle with a combination of Rapier engines and nuclear engines. But until then, I had to test out every single variation, every single option, and leave no stone unturned. Now with this variation, I actually managed to get up into orbit with almost 1,000 delta V left over. Now that's not enough to go anywhere, even the freaking moon, but it showed promise. It was a combination of 2 nuclear engines, 1 regular rocket engine, and 2 Rapier engines. But I wanted to see if I could squeeze out a little bit more delta V once everybody gets into orbit. Right there, I was realizing that I was using up way too much fuel because the craft is so draggy. Not even 3 Rapier engines can really push it beyond subsonic speeds. It needed the extra oomph from the nuclear engines, which in atmosphere use up a lot of darn fuel. I had to find some sort of happy medium. There had to be something I could do. So I tried the complete rocket engine SSTO. And of course, because it was so draggy, even for a rocket engine SSTO, it just wasn't working out. Because I was having so much problem with the Rapier engine not producing enough power, I figured I'd go straight for the more powerful jet engine. My hope was that it had a lot more oomph from the very beginning to try to break that subsonic barrier. Of course, this would fail horribly. I would also run into the dreaded nose flip because the center of lift was so far ahead of the center of mass. It only took a little bit of a design change to throw that off just enough to where now it became an issue. I had to go back to square one, change it, test it out, rechange it until I finally found a decent, maybe not the right or the perfect, but a decent engine combo and flight plan package. And there it is, the SSTO that kind of mimics the old days of Overfloater. I don't like doing that where it's kind of like old days of Overfloater. Like if Overfloater was from the old days and is old, it doesn't sound right. I'm sure if he ever came back, he would wipe the floor with a lot of us. But yeah, there you go. Again, thank you everybody for being here, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave a like, and if you really liked what you saw, consider subscribing. We also have a membership program. If you become a member, you get cool little emojis and badges and stuff next to your name. Pretty cool, check it out. Anyway, this has been an old SSTO video, trying to bring the past into the future, or present. We almost had a future. KSP. Stay safe everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye-bye.